Well, between our vacuum cleaner of money of the people court system, you know what I'm talking about, right? The court system is always about taking people's money, right? Even about I mentioned one time on a YouTube video about a lady in Central Florida that took care of some stray cats, and she's been charged thousands of dollars for her effort by the Animal Control Center in one of the counties because they said cruelty to animals even though she was taking them to the vet. You know, hey, that type of stuff. It's all over the place, right? It's one big racket. Big Brother's watching you. The other side of it is we have VoteSCAM USA. Actually, I read the book VoteSCAM 2000. That was out in the 90s, actually, before 2000. It was printed, I believe the research was done in South Florida originally. Now, I'm going to tell you that I think VoteSCAM is a reality, big time, ongoing today, and it's pretty obvious. Now, I just want to tell you also that Hillary Clinton, it's not the be all apex of the evil stuff that's going on in this country. She is the sales push woman or whatever you want to call her and her husband. Now, one thing I have made an obvious conclusion about is in California that Bernie Sanders, I think, actually won that primary by a landslide. Now, I lived in California for 3.5 years, and I can tell you a little over 3.5 years, and in South California in San Diego County, and I can tell you the attitude of the people over there is hates the die-hard established tweed type people from the East. Like they don't like the Bushes for that reason, even though they supposedly hail from Texas. He's a Connecticut person basically. They don't like people Wall Street. And I know Hillary's looking a little younger today with the cord of Botox, but that's all Botox injected in her skin, I'm assuming. But I also got, maybe it's hearsay, but it was something from the individual precincts. They said that the scam occurred when the votes were being tabulated at the final tabulation. And actually, Bernie won 69% to 31%, like it was a landslide against Hillary. I do believe that because I just kind of know the California psyche. Man, they're independent. As a matter of fact, in San Diego County, now I didn't actually vote for Ross Perot back in '92 or whatever it was. Ross Perot won in San Diego County. Independent party won. He actually won the county. Didn't win the state, but he won the county. Californians are pretty damn independent people. They would not go for an established type person like Hillary Clinton. I can almost guarantee that. I don't think she won. I think there was major voter fraud going on there. That's pretty damn obvious. Preaching to the choir here. Now, I don't want this to be down in the dumps. Well, shit, just crap. I guess shit's gonna get pretty bad. Maybe, who knows? Now, I picked up an actual little comment on it was somebody commenting on one of the anonymous something, and I can tell you that I'm gonna comment more on this, not just his comment, but he says he's got some inside information on how to cheat on voting. He worked for a county government for a few years, and he had to program the machines, the voting machines. There are so many different ways they can be manipulated to give fraudulent results. First, the person loading the voting choice data on the SD card can actually set candidates with a negative vote total from the very start. So they start out with 2,000 votes against them, negative. But I think Trump's going to win probably because he's going to win by such a landslide. But it's not 100%. There's a lot of forces going on behind the scenes that are against Trump, and I'll comment a little more about that guy too because I know he's not Peter Perfect. But still, what are you going to do, right? Sure as hell ain't going to take the hill to beast. Second, the people setting up the machines can manipulate them by not calibrating the touch screens properly so that when you touch a spot on the screen, it actually activates the touch at 2 inches down or to the right or wherever you want it to be. So you think you're pressing on, so X and it's going to Y or whatever the hell it is, right? And that's another thing. I know there's a solution to this. It's actually a simple solution. I think it was called True Vote. And what you do is you get a receipt, and it has a control number on it. And you can take that control number, go on the internet, and now I know this system has been developed. It's not in place, though. I think it's called True Vote. And the guy that actually made the system, He died in an auto accident. I think it was in Georgia or something. So great, right? Yeah, what else is new, right? Um, but that's where you really should have everything that way with an audit trail. In other words, you do a vote, and you have a receipt. You get a paper receipt, and you have a number on it. So you take that number and you go look up online your number, and you can see that your vote was counted. Fine. Now I know you could probably cheat with that too, because you could probably have 1,000 dead people vote, or people vote. I don't know. Maybe there's other ways you could cheat with it, but that kind of cuts down some stuff, because you have quite a bit, because you have an audit trail, right? You can't be flipping the people's votes, which is, I think, what happened in California. You know. Now, something else too. I saw at the Democratic National Convention, and yeah, I want to thank YouTube for allowing me to keep my video on the Young Turks monetized. I actually went into the Young Turks, what it means, what it meant. This it's kind of interesting. This guy, Senk, whatever his name is, Senk, his name, chose the name Young Turks. A lot of people aren't freaking. I shouldn't even joke about it, but I'll point to the link on that video I did. Now, I'm going to tell you that this thing in the Democratic National Convention, when you had Alex Jones walking in there, and the Young Turks was there, and they got in this big, like, WWF fight right at the Democratic National Convention, that was staged. God, it's so obvious. I saw that, and I could see all the giddy rumors out minds going, ugh, clicking on a link. Boy, I guess it sells, for freaking looking on YouTube video, but it's staged. God, it was so staged. It's so staged. I don't know how the hell. I can't just. If you look at it, you want to look at it, fine. When the Young Turks and Alex Jones got in the WWF at the brawl, and it looked like, the Young Turks, spit at Alex Jones. I don't think he really did. I mean, I think it was just like, let's play this up for the freaking publicity. I think they had a mutual agreement. So unfortunately, even in the social media and the alternative media, you got the big money behind it. Like, I think there's money behind this guy, the Young Turks. I think there's money behind Alex Jones. There ain't money behind me. I can tell you that right now. It's just me. Now, the other thing is, also at the Democratic National Convention, you had Hillary calling out the SWAT team on the Bernie supporters. I was like, holy shit. I don't know what happened. There was some kind of big altercation, and she called the SWAT team. I'm thinking, man, she's going to be calling the SWAT team left and right. This lady, if she ever gets to be president, revolt. I'm serious, man. I don't even call these guys a SWAT team. I don't care if you're American, your SWAT team. You get called out. They just obey orders. It's Nazis. That's what the hell it is. Even though I was in the military, it's like there's some things abhor. I just look at it with abhorrence. That's why I brought up that stuff about the Young Turks and whatever the hell it was from back in the Armenian genocide. I'm glad YouTube let me keep that video up there, but I was getting worried, because I was like, I'm criticizing a guy with 3 million subs. I'm going to get in trouble. I was like thinking that. I did it anyway, man. I'm little David, I'm little David over here. So, I'm not a multimedia guy. That's the other thing, I could talk though, but I think that VoteSCAM is alive and well in the United States, and I'm going to tell you something a little about Trump. I was wrong. Well, I was wrong and right and wrong. How's that? About Trump in some ways. First off, I do recognize that people with a lot of money, anybody with a lot of money, they are BS artists, man. Trump is, believe me, I'm not trying to be too critical of this guy now, okay? I mean, everything's relative. And also, I'm going to tell you, I think Trump's sons have a major influence on him, and I think his sons are, kind of steering the dad ship somewhat, too. Because I looked at some of what the sons said. They're very articulate, intelligent, quick on their words and feet. So, I think that's they really put a bug in the ear on dad. So, especially about the Second Amendment, right? Because I was wondering about Trump. He used to be a little bit different about the Second Amendment. Now, the other thing is, I can tell you right now, I think Trump has actually been in with, he's a playboy too. I'm sure, but nowhere near the extent of Bill Clinton. They all do their stuff, okay? They all do their stuff. And Also, when Trump was criticizing the Clintons now recently in the last couple of years, I was always wondering how the hell was he not even saying it one peep against them for like 20 years. Then all of a sudden, the last 2 years, but I don't know. I really don't know what the hell the deal is with this guy. 110%. We're gonna find out. I just know we can't have Hildebeest in there. That's for sure. But the world isn't going to be saved by one person, and unfortunately, the alternative media has been taken over by showboaters and things like that, and it's kind of like giving us the illusion of we're fighting the power, we got them on the run, we got the corporations in the governments on the run, and we the people can fight them. It's kind of an illusion. I can tell you that right now. You can fight them though. You can fight them, just not by not really cooperating with too much and scamming. What I think is actually going to happen though here, no matter who gets elected, even though I brought up this issue about VoteSCAM, yeah, I think the government's actually going in. Well, we'll see. It's been said so many years now. Who the hell knows? Maybe we'll go another 10 years. I don't know. I mean, really, don't know. But every time I looked at the problems with the debt, the government deficit and the trading balances and stuff, I can't see how Trump's going to fix all that himself. And the other thing is, well, we can hope, but I can realize there's an entrenched conspiracy beyond the Clintons, and the entrenched conspiracy is so strong that even this guy Bernie Sanders has been criticizing Wall Street and the IMF. Clinton's threw him a few dollars, a few change, and he shut right up, and he put his support right behind Hillary Clinton, right? I don't know. And anybody that's going to buck the system, I think they're going to get killed. Tell you the truth. So we're in deep shit in this country. I can tell you that right now. But we're not just in deep shit, even at the national level, but it's also at the state level, the county level. The reason it's at the problems at the state and county level is because the federal government dictates to the states, and even the states dictate to the counties what all the laws should be. Like in other words, all these different things like governing families and children and stuff like that. It's gotten ridiculous. So a lot of times people think that Trump's going to save the day with everything. Probably what's going to save the day, honestly, is a total debt default. I almost kind of hope for that shit, because I think anybody in the government ought to just freaking just get fired. And I know Trump's not going to be able to do that, so you're fired. Hey, fire half the freaking government. I'd love the guy if he did that. To the EPA, you're all fired. Department of Education, you're fired. Bureau of Land Management, you're fired. All of you guys, you're fired. The ATF, you're fired. The whole bunch of them. FBI, I don't know about the FBI. NSA, you're fired. So, yeah, if he did that, it'd be great. But he can't do that. What actually was going to fire everybody is a collapse, I think. And it's actually gonna make well, we'll see. Now, again, I think Hillary Clinton is actually not, like I said, acting on herself by herself. Obviously, it's quite obvious the number of big heavy hitters that are against Donald Trump, even the supposed leaders of the Tea Party, like the Koch brothers, being against Donald Trump now. I don't want to be saying Donald Trump, whatever. Yeah, but it's. I can't believe one guy is going to be able to go up against all that bullshit. No way in hell. No way in hell. And what it really comes down to is we the people got to be like the SWAT team over here and think for ourselves and stand on our own 2 feet. Because if it's too expensive for them to freaking hammer us, it's too expensive for us to hammer us. That's what it is. It's got to cost them, not cost us. It's like when you're not part of the system sometimes, and you're hitting the system from an end run around. It's like that's the way to do it, because, well, you got to kind of think like an average Mexican. What does the average Mexican do? Like you're building a house out there, And when a house is completed, it costs too much money for taxes, so you always renew your construction permit. That works that way pretty well. And you always have a part of the house uncompleted. It's cheaper that way than dealing with the taxes, right? You got to scam a little bit, right? Um, so, today it's not government by the people, for the people, of the people. It's like the people got to scam the government as much as possible, or else they ain't gonna survive. And Hildebeest, that's one issue I want to put to rest here because we look at that Hildebeest and like, oh, we got to stop Hildebeest and we got to put somebody else in here. But it's almost like we just got to stop the government. And hopefully, I really do. I mean, it'd be nice if all the just government people just lost their jobs and everybody in the private sector just kept going. That would be okay. I gotta tell you the truth, honestly. Everybody in the private sector that is because in the private sector you got to work like pretty much 24/7 to survive. If you're working for yourself, you got to be like always working. You know, like me, I'm always working, no matter whether you think so or not. And um, anybody that's hired from the government sector into the private sector, anybody that's an entrepreneur that hires these people realizes there are worse people going. So, in other words, if Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were hired by some private corporation, they'd be the worst people going. Oh, they might bring in something because the name, or maybe in other words, they could bring something into a private corporation because of their position in government. They could do somebody a favor that way. But as far as actually doing something constructive, neither one of them can. And then that actually is the difference between Trump and these people. Because Trump has been in the private sector. He survived in the private sector. So there is a ray of hope there. I just hope everything's okay with him. And I don't know. He needs to hire his own private secret service, too. I can tell you that right now. So anyway, VoteSCAM is going to be alive and well. I don't think she's going to be able to pull it off, though. Because she's like, if you look at YouTube, look at her YouTube videos. She's got so many dislikes. I mean, she's got about as many dislikes as I got dislikes on my batteryizer videos, man. If that product ever gets out, I don't know if that's going on with that thing. As a side note, I think that batteryizer product is probably legit, but they got too many problems from Eveready Corporation or something. I don't know. I might put something out on that later if I ever call them up and try to find out the deal. I'll put something out on them later. But yeah, if you look on Facebook, you realize Hillary Clinton doesn't have anywhere near as many likes as Donald Trump. And when you're looking at the older people that don't bother with Facebook and YouTube, I think Trump is actually he's far more supported by people that are entrepreneurs. So I think they're going to try to steal the election, but they're not going to be successful. In other words, it might be Trump 52% to 48%. In reality, it's going to be like, 90-10. I don't know, hopefully 80-20 or something. Anyway, so I just want to put this out here, food for thought, and I did tell you a couple other things out here in this video that you probably wouldn't have known, but maybe you did know, but that's usually my style. I like, I try not to, if I put out too many videos, people get pissed off because there's too many videos in their video stream. Then if I put out if I put a lot of stuff in one video, then people get pissed off that they're too long. I'm like, hey, can't satisfy everybody. But hey, that's just how it is. But VoteSCAM is real, and that should be one thing I think Trump ought to fix. Is actually, tell you the truth, I should get back to this issue and just probably should make a separate video on it. But Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they're very racist. They're very racist against black people. As a matter of fact, in Arkansas, they never help black people at all, man. They're all talk. That's all they are. As a matter of fact, black people in Arkansas, I don't think any of them got into office when Bill Clinton was in there, and they do this by actually gerrymandering the voting districts and things like that. Now, I think Trump, even though the major media is trying to make this guy look like he's a racist or some shit. He's not. Uh-uh. Actually, he's gonna probably. Hopefully, he can straighten. I think if he does one thing to really straighten stuff out is if the voting system can get fixed, whereby we got an audit trail on our actual votes, and without having the United Nations come in and verify them. This way, we can just go on and continue. I probably am going to make a separate video on some of that stuff because although I'm smart enough not to walk down the hood as a white person, I actually do recognize a lot of stuff going on with black people. They're getting screwed over big time. And I can tell you right now, the Hill Clintons are definitely not friends of the black people, not in the least. And I also put a video out a while back that Obama's not black; he's an Arabic. His darker side comes from an Arab guy. And just all this alternative media stuff. For the most part, big names out there, they're backed by money. So, you know. Anyway, just want to kind of give you a little heads up on VoteSCAM is going to be coming down the road again here. But I don't think she's going to be able to pull it off. She's like way too unpopular now. Way too unpopular. So maybe I don't think it's going to happen.